Number 11, no trinomials, so we're just going to do GCFs. 9p is already multiplication. This one has a GCF of 6. We'll bring the 14p plus 12 to the top, and it has a GCF of 2. And then this one has a GCF of 9p. Think about that one a little bit. You'll have 7p plus 6, and that'll help you to see what's going to cancel. You've got 7p plus 6, those are gone. 9 and 9 and p, and then your 2 and your 6. You got a lot of canceling. So all you're left on top is a 1, and you're left a 3 and a p plus 3 on the bottom. Number 12, I think I'll have enough room to do these down here, so I'm going to kind of section this off and start it right in here. GCF 6 and GCF 5n. You have to be careful on that one because it's going to be n minus 1 times, now this, let's do the x on it, a 7 and a negative 8. Well, 7's only 1 and 7. So, and to multiply to be positive and add to be negative, they both have to be negative. So it's going to be n minus 7, n minus 1, and n minus 7. It really doesn't matter which way you write that. And then the bottom, the top now goes to the bottom, and it has a GCF of 6. Okay, I'm going to get the binomials first. The n minus 1s are gone. The n minus 7s are gone. The 6s are gone. I'm left an n plus 10 on top and a 5n on the bottom. Okay, distance formula. The distance formula is based on the Pythagorean theorem. It says that distance is equal to the big square root, and that comes from the hypotenuse squared. Now to get your legs, you subtract your x's and square it. Legs squared plus, then subtract the y's and square them, and then the hypotenuse squared, so you take the square root. So just remember which ones are x's and y's. And I think I'm going to start with this one, negative 5. So I'm going to say d is equal to, and I'm going to go ahead and put my big square root, so I'm going to say negative 5 minus 3 squared plus 0 minus 0 squared equals, now this is going to be negative 8, so I'll have the square root of negative 8 squared, I would just leave it in parentheses, plus 0 squared, which is the square root of 64 plus 0. Square root of 64 equals 8. Number 14. Let's kind of go down here. So we've got big square root, d equals, and I'm going to start with a 3, so I'm going to say 3 minus 5 squared, plus, now I'll do my y's, negative 7 minus negative 4 squared. So you got to watch that minus a negative there. So you've got big square root. This is negative 2 squared. And this is negative 7 plus 4, which is negative 3 squared. So I've got square root of negative 2 squared is negative 2 times negative 2, which is 4. Negative 3 squared, negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. And that's square root of 13. And that will not break down. It says leave exact and simplified. That's the exact answer. Square root of 13 is just 1 times 13. It doesn't have any pairs in it. Number 15. I think I'm going to get a piece of paper to do this on because I'm just kind of running out of room. So I'm just going to put it underneath here. Number 15, I'm going to start with d is equal to, okay, let me get over here. I'm going to start with the 8. So I'm going to do big square root 8 minus negative 4 squared, plus, and then my y's, 2 minus negative 2 squared. So that's going to be the square root of, this is going to be 12 squared, and this is going to be 2 minus negative 2, that's 2 plus 2, which is 4 squared. So you've got the square root of 144 plus 16. And I'll go over here and add those. It's a square root of 160. Now your factor tree of 160 . Two goes again, 2 goes again, 2 goes again, and then 2 goes 5 times. So I'll have a pair of 2's and another pair of 2's. So I've got 2 squared plus 2 squared, times 2 squared, times 2 times 5, times my leftovers. So I'm going to pull the square root of this 4 out as 2. The square root of this 4 is going to come out as 2. And I'm left a 2 times 5 underneath. And then we'll clean that up to 4 square root of 10. Okay, and that should be our last. No, there's a number 16. He's kind of in there hiding. So let's do that right here. I believe you can see it. Okay, big square root. Okay, I'm going to start with 3. And you can start with either one. When you get down to the step where I got the 144 plus 16, you'll have that step the same. So we're going to do 3 minus 0 squared, that's your x squared, plus, and then negative 5 minus negative 2 squared. So I get the square root of 3 minus 0 squared, plus, now that's negative 5 plus 2, which is negative 3 squared. So I've got the square root of 9 plus 9, which is the square root of 18. Now the factor tree of 18 is you got a 3 squared and you got a 2 left over. We'll take the square root of the 9 out, which will give us a 3, and then the 2 will stay inside. So you want to be sure and simplify those. I think I can do midpoint on here because those are pretty easy. Remember we've talked about the middle. And to get the middle, you're just averaging. You're just going to add your x's. You're just going to add the x's together, x1 plus x sub 2, and average them. And then y sub 1 plus y sub 2, and average them. And it's just an ordered pair when you get through with it. And I'm just going to leave them improper if they don't come out even. So I've got 1 plus negative 9 over 2. That's my x's. And then 1 plus 7 over 2. That's my y's. That's negative 8 over 2, which is negative 4. And that's 8 over 2, which is positive 4. Number 18, my x's, negative 6 plus 0 over 2. My y's, negative 3 plus negative 7 over 2. That's negative 6 over 2, which is negative 3. That's negative 10 over 2, which is negative 5. Those are nice. They're coming out even. Number 19. X's, negative 1 plus negative 2 over 2. And 6 plus 0 over 2. So that's negative 3 over 2. And that's 6 over 2, which is just 3. And I'm just going to leave that improper. You can reduce it if you want to, but I just leave it improper. And then the last one. 10 plus negative 6 over 2, and negative 7 plus 1 over 2. So 10 plus negative 6 is 4 over 2, and negative 7 plus 1 is negative 6 over 2. I did put that extra step in. So that's going to be 4 over 2 is 2, and negative 6 over 2 is negative 3.